Hello everyone and welcome to CPC, and on this absolutely beautiful Thursday, the sun is finally shining. Coming up in today's show, we're going to take a quick look at the latest video from Sigma Sport where Matt Stevens takes Fabian Cancellara, or is it the other way around, out for a coffee ride. We're talking 2020 Olympics, women's cycling, my predictions for this weekend's British National Road Race Championship, and also mental health. Let's get on with the show. Coming up first, and it's video of the day. Now, I've already recommended a few Dirty Kanza videos, but this is Ted King's perspective of Dirty Kanza. He went in with the #1 plate, which is pretty big, really, and you can see the video in all its glory over on his channel. And make sure you go and subscribe to the channel, make sure you go and watch that, and also leave a comment down below in that video saying Pritch sent me. Go and sub to his channel. It's amazing to see so many pros, ex-pros, and just general cyclists taking to YouTube now and picking the camera up and showing people their journey and showing their people their lives. And I think as this becomes a norm, you know, producing your own content, making your own content, telling your own story within the cycling industry, it's going to help a lot of people. Let's take Cameron Jeffers for instance. Cameron Jeffers pretty much is a household name in the UK racing scene because of his vlogs. Yeah, he's a talented rider, but you can't help thinking that the majority of people know of Cameron Jeffers and potentially Saint Piran and the riders that ride for them, all because of Cam and his journey and filming and recording and uploading it to YouTube. So staying with YouTube now, and over on Shane Miller's channel, he has just dropped a video about the Aussie Hump Day ride, and Shane's actually made a video of the new fence system that's been implemented into Zwift, which stops riders getting too far ahead of the ride leader.
And there's me just breaking through the fence.
So in group rides, we have a ride leader. They maintain the pace, they maintain the rules and regulations of what's involved in that. And if a rider happens to get ahead of the lead rider and beyond the fence, then they have around 30 seconds, 60 seconds to get back in the fence, or they get kicked. Next up, and yesterday I reported in my Tour de France special, you can watch that by clicking up in the top corner, that Phil Gilles may or may not be taken to the start line, and unfortunately, according to his team, he won't be taken to the start line. In a news article on Cycling News, Philippe Gilbert had described a decision by his De Koning Quickstep team not to select him for the Tour de France as incomprehensible, revealing it will play a part in any decision to leave the Belgian squad and end his prestigious career elsewhere. I'm very disappointed. This decision is incomprehensible. I worked hard to ride the Tour. I really wanted to ride the Tour because it starts in Brussels and because I had to give up last year after a fall. It is a disappointment and a surprise. The decision was imposed on me. But also you've got to look at the roster at De Koning Quickstep. They've got Elia Viviani, who's going to be going for sprint finishes, and you've also got Julian Alaphilippe, who's going to be up there, potentially at GC, definitely up there in the mountains. So what's Phil's role going to be? Because, you know, he's the type of guy who wants to go for stage wins, who wants to be in those breakaways, who wants to animate that race. But I think a three-pronged attack, often nice for some people, is it's not going to work at the Tour de France, is it? Sticking with World Tour cycling, ASO's Flèche Wallonne and Liège-Bastogne-Liège are going to be included now in the 2020 Women's World Tour. So originally these two races were off the World Tour because the organiser ASO weren't willing to put that 45 minutes of live TV footage out there for it to qualify under the UCI guidelines for it to be a World Tour event. And an argument that I made last time is, how can the ASO not be willing to put 45 minutes of footage out there of potentially one of the best races in the women's racing calendar, yet they're willing to put out 6 hours of a rolling stage of the Tour de France where all you see is chateaus, cathedrals and fields of rapeseed. Anyway, the Olympics in Tokyo in 2020 have sparked a bit of a debate within the pro peloton. According to Cycling News, it appears the Tokyo Olympics have created a calendar squeeze for the 2020 cycling season, with the Tour de France scheduled to be held a week earlier than usual, between June 27th and July 19th. The Tokyo Olympic road race is set to start 6 days after the Tour de France actually ends, which gives the riders who are completing the Tour de France very little time to not only get the Tour de France out of their legs, but to also get over to Japan acclimatise to the heat. It's going to be around 30 to 35 degrees out there, I believe, at that time of year. And then also adapt to the time change as well. I don't know what's going to happen there. I've got a feeling you're going to see a lot of riders who are targeting that road race at the Olympics, go into the Tour de France, potentially get into the second week, get some good training in their legs, hop over to Japan, and then have a week there before the Olympics actually start. I can't see any rider completing the Tour de France, finishing on the Champs-Élysées, then heading out to Japan and being in any sort of form that they need to be in to compete for a medal. Sure, there's going to be riders who are just going out there to help, although it is going to be a squeeze for some riders who go straight from the Tour across. I think for those riders who are looking to win and have a realistic chance of getting on that podium at the Olympics, they're either going to avoid the Tour de France or they're going to bomb out early and get to Japan quick, acclimatise, and go and win a gold medal. Before we move on to the next story, my predictions for this weekend's British National Road Race Championships. The Nationals start tonight with the time trial. I believe if you head over to British Cycling's Facebook page, you can actually watch the time trials live. However, I don't know if it's geo-restricted, so if it is, I apologise, but it's well worth going to see and check it out. On Sunday, the road race will be live on YouTube. Same again, potentially geo-restricted. I don't know. Go and check it out though, and you'll be able to watch it. Before I give you my predictions, wherever you are in the world, right? Wherever you're watching this, if it's your home nation's national championships, I want your predictions. Leave them in the comments down below. I want a man's winner in the road race and I want a woman's man in the road race. What? I want your prediction on the men's road race and also the women's road race. Leave them down below. Let's see who gets the predictions right. But my predictions this week are in the women's. Leah Dixon is going to take the victory. She's coming off the back of a win at the Tour of the Reservoir. And in the men's, I'm going for Ben Swift. And yeah, I'm biased, all right? I'm biased. But I just want him to win. I just want him to win a race again. God damn it. But honestly though, I believe with the form that he's taken from the Tour de Suisse, he could be one to watch. It just all depends on the National Road Race, because you wear a World Tour jersey in the National Road Race Championships and your cards are marked. Recently, Sigma Sport have been doing awesome things in the YouTube world. They've taken Matt Stevens on and they're producing some awesome content. But the latest video with him and Fabian Cancellara on a cafe ride is one of the best videos I've seen from them. It's 16 minutes of Matt and Fabian just having pure banter, seeing a professional cyclist, both Matt and Fabian, in a relaxed setting where Cancellara has dropped his guard. There's no PR interview here. It's literally just two guys who know a lot about cycling, who have achieved some great things in cycling, sitting down and having a chat both on the bikes and in the cafe.
And the thing is with the Olympics is I said I want to go or I will go, but not like, this is my main goal. So I put the pressure low. We knew that it's going to hard circuit. Yeah. And I went to the Tour, but in the Tour I wasn't really good. But it was also emotionally was difficult for me because I have a lot with the Tour, but on the other hand I hated the Tour somehow. We finished on a really nice way and went to the Olympics, but before I left, 1st of August, I said home, if I'm gonna get a medal, if I get the gold medal, I stop. Okay. They looked at me and said, damn, because I was believing a medal is possible. Yeah.
As always, link down in the description to go and watch that video. If you do go and watch it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, leave a comment down there just saying Pritch sent me. I bloody love his videos. And I love you too, Matt. And the last story I want to talk about today is Callum Skinner and his recent, I guess, revelations, because they are revelations. He sat down at the weekend with the Daily Mail and opened up about his retirement from cycling, post Rio Olympics, his Gold Coast problems, and it was sad for me personally, who knows Callum. It was sad to read it, to think that someone you know and can relate to, because we experience a lot of similar things. I mean, he's had way more success than me, but you know, we used to share a room a lot on training camps. Went to Delhi Games, we went to the Glasgow Games, so we've been through quite a lot. And to see someone go through that or hear about them going through that is pretty sad. And I guess one of the main parts of this story is what led Callum to his retirement, which ultimately was British Cycling and their view of performance over health and well-being of an athlete was far more important to them than Callum's, well-being. There is a person, I'm not going to name him, but he should have known better. In one of his many negative interjections, I was called into a meeting. He made me feel it was necessary to explain myself. Everyone takes a gamble on how much to tell someone in an effort to gain their understanding. I agreed to things at that meeting I should not have agreed to, things it was irresponsible for him to ask. I was advised by Steve, my coach, family and doctor to take a break for the sake of my safety, but this individual's position was, we can't have our athletes taking a 12-week holiday. It was over 2 years to the Tokyo Olympics. He had an antiquated opinion of what mental health was. I have tried to put my issues with the one guy to bed. Some people just aren't good people. Zero empathy, zero understanding. I feel I am past that now. And you know, on one hand, you're going to have those people who argue, people like Shane Sutton who say it's hard, you've got to be mentally tough, you've got to be mentally strong to succeed in this game. And if you're not, you're going to fail. So if you have any of those mental issues, then don't come here, this is not for you. And then you've got the other people on the other side who believe that if your mental well-being is nourished and you are developed mentally as well as you are physically, then you could potentially have not only a better and more successful athletic career, but you can actually go on and do things post-athletics. Callum's 26 and is retired. If he wasn't as intelligent and as articulate as he is, he could really struggle to actually find a career. Thankfully, he's not, and he knows what he's doing, and he's finding an identity post-cycling, and ultimately you can see him having a very successful career in whatever he does. But that's not going to be the case for a lot of cyclists who get bombarded from these types of coaches, telling them they're not good enough, telling them that they need to be stronger, telling them that they need to be better. And then ultimately when they come out of that career, they might have won a few medals, but what it's done to their mental well-being and their soul. So ultimately I think, and I don't know if Callum's going to be the person that moves this forward, but there needs to be a new approach. You need people like Callum to talk about their experiences, to say, you know, this is not right, this needs to be sorted, this is not the right environment to be producing well-rounded athletes. You're producing athletes that are physically strong and mentally that they might be weak, but they build up a wall around that mentality to just try and hold that in while they accomplish what it is they're trying to accomplish. Instead of being physically strong and having that right mindset and not having to build those walls around those insecurities and weaknesses, working on those to develop that person as an all-round person, not just an athlete. And I think once you get to that point, I think you'll still see medals being won, but you'll see medals being won by people who are people and not robots. Like Vicky Pendleton's another prime example of somebody who was physically gifted, who might have not have had the strongest mental capabilities in that environment, but she just boxed it all in, just crammed it all into a box and then just stuffed it at the back of her head and tried to ignore it. But you know that ignoring things like that eventually are going to come back and bite you on the ass. I think ultimately the answer is that the whole facade of being mentally strong needs to be dropped. That athletes should be free to be able to say, do you know what? I'm physically strong enough to do this. I don't think I'm mentally strong to do this. We need to work on this. These are the problems I'm having, and not be ashamed of those problems. To be able to go to your coaches and be able to say, these are the problems I'm having, and a coach to be able to actually understand those issues that you're having mentally as well as physically. You go to a coach and you say, coach, got a bit of a hamstring strain. Instantly a coach knows what to do with that information. But if you go to a coach and say, coach, I'm suffering from anxiety, the chances are they're going to just say, shut up, don't be a dick, and get on with it. And as someone who's suffered from anxiety, if you approach a coach and you get that response, is that really going to get the best out of a rider? It's so inspirational for Callum, especially for me who knows him and can actually relate to a lot of what he's saying, to step forward and to open up about his story and explain what he went through on his way to winning Olympic gold medals and trying to be the best athlete he can. And hopefully it's going to allow more people to step forward and say, do you know what? The system that I'm in now isn't allowing me to be the best and most well-rounded athlete I can be. All right, instead of comments today, I'm going to play a little game with you. However, there is one comment I just want to read out, because why not? Absolute rubbish, irritating, annoying, ego run riot, self-obsessed, trash. Are all words Tony Why Not uses to describe himself on Tinder. See what I did there? Oh, Tony, go. So today's game we're going to play is Guess That Gram. I've screenshotted a few Instagram stories, and all you've got to do, it's kind of a game on your own really, you've just got to shout out the answer, is guess which professional rider the gram came from. Easy. So leave a comment below and let me know how many you guessed out of these 4 Instagram stories. Alright, so who do you think is barbecuing a bit of salmon and a bit of steak by the swimming pool? Any guesses? Well, that of course is Danny Van Poppel. 2 points if you got that one. Next one here, post-training. I think he's saying, I need to clean the office. But that is, of course, Egan Bernal. One of the favourites for the Tour de France, having to do his own cleaning. Unbelievable. And this next one, I think there might just be a homeless guy. Since when do homeless people have phones and Instagram accounts? Let's have a look who it is. Oh, it's Lachlan Morton. He's doing the GB Duro, isn't he? Ah, that makes more sense. 2 points if you got that one. And finally, whose gram is this? Love Island on the bus. And that, of course, is Owain Duel. Hey, I can't judge him. Love Island is one of the best TV programmes ever.
I hear that, it just refreshifies my memory.
Argue amongst yourselves about that one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you've not done already, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live with our live streams or when we drop our next video. And until next time,